Have you ever had that feeling, that creeping sense of dread that time is just slipping through your fingers? That the life you're supposed to be living is, somewhere else, just out of reach? Well, today we're diving deep into that exact feeling, the midlife reckoning. And we're going to look at how it's morphed from a 20th century cliché into something, something distinctly modern. So let's get into it and unpack how we all got here.
It's such a simple idea, but it's pretty profound, right? In a world that just feels like it's speeding up all the time, the one thing we absolutely cannot make more of is time. And realizing that awareness is right at the heart of our whole conversation today. Come on, we've all been there. It's that Sunday night anxiety, that panic when a big birthday rolls around. It's this feeling that there are a million things you could be doing, but the clock is just ticking away, and you feel like you might miss out. But here's the thing. That feeling isn't just you. It's actually one of the defining pressures of our time.
You see, to really understand where we are now, we've got to look back at where this all started. The specific pressures might have changed for sure, but that fundamental human struggle, that reckoning with a life half-lived, that's been with us for a very long time.
So, let me introduce you to someone. This guy is basically the poster child for the classic 20th century midlife crisis. His name is Reginald Iolanthe Perrin. He's a fictional character from the 70s who just perfectly captured the anxieties of his entire generation.
Reggie's life was, on the surface, a perfect picture of suburban life. He's 46, a manager, commuting every single day to a pretty bland office job selling desserts. Seriously. He had the house, the wife, the kids were grown. He checked every single box he was supposed to.
But underneath that very respectable surface, Reggie was just collapsing. He was totally distressed, disaffected, and completely disillusioned with everything. His work, his family, his entire existence felt like this trap that he just could not escape from.
And so he did something pretty extreme. First, he gathers up all his childhood mementos and just burns them, like he's trying to erase his own past. Then he drives to a beach, leaves his clothes there to make it look like he drowned, and just walks away. Starts a whole new life under a completely new name.
It's a wild story for sure, but you have to ask the question, what was the pressure that became so unbearable that faking his own death seemed like a good idea? It wasn't just him. It was a cultural thing.
Okay, so to really get Reggie, you have to get the world he was so desperate to escape. His crisis? It was born from the incredible pressure of something sociologists call the standardized life course.
Now, what's so fascinating about this is that for a huge chunk of the 20th century, there was this unspoken script for life. It was this social timetable that told you exactly where you should be and when you should be there. And this timeline was incredibly rigid. You got married in your 20s, you bought a house, had kids in your 30s, and by your 40s, just like Reggie, you were supposed to be settled. Your path was basically set in stone until retirement. It was this one-size-fits-all model for what a successful life looked like.
And here's the real kicker. If you hit middle age and felt like you were off schedule, or if the life you built following that script just felt empty, it triggered a crisis. This deep, personal reckoning where you'd compare your life to society's goals and just come up short. That was the pressure that pushed Reggie Perrin into the sea.
But of course, that was then. Let's fast forward to today. That rigid social timetable, it's pretty much gone. But it's been replaced by a whole new set of pressures. And these ones aren't driven by conformity. They're driven by technology.
There was a time when technology promised us all this freedom and leisure time. It was supposed to set us free. But the reality, it feels a lot different, doesn't it? Instead of freeing our minds, it feels like our screen time has just gobbled up our lives, creating a whole new kind of anxiety.
$1.6 billion. That is how much money in annual sales Amazon would lose if its website loaded just 1 second slower. Just think about that for a minute. Our collective impatience is now literally measured in billions of dollars.
So this creates a totally new playbook of modern pressures. First, you've got the impatience spiral, that feeling of rising rage when a video buffers for half a second. Faster tech hasn't made us more patient, it's made any delay feel agonizing. Then there's the loss of mystery. When every single fact is just a quick search away, we lose the joy of gradual discovery, of wonder. And maybe the heaviest one of all, the universe has a memory. Every dumb mistake, every bad take is basically frozen online forever, making it almost impossible to just reinvent yourself the way Reggie Perrin did.
So,
If the old pressures are gone and these new ones feel totally inescapable, what are we supposed to do? Well, the answer isn't to find a better app or some new productivity hack. It's about changing our entire relationship with time itself.
Steve Jobs really nailed it here. Confronting the reality that our time is limited, that it will end, isn't supposed to be depressing. It's actually liberating. It frees you from the fear of failure. It gives you permission to go after what really matters to you. As he said, you're already naked. There's really no reason not to follow your heart.
In this quote right here from author Oliver Berkman, it just perfectly illustrates the modern trap. He points out that our to-do list will never end. The more you get done, the more you'll have to do. This fantasy that one day you'll finally clear the decks and get on top of everything, it's just that. It's a fantasy.
And this really gets to the core of it all. Trying to optimize every single second of your day is a losing game. The solution isn't about managing your time better. It's about accepting your limits and then making really conscious choices about what actually deserves your finite attention.
And this is where the real power is. It doesn't come from doing more stuff. It comes from deciding what you're willing to just let go of. Instead of spending your life frantically trying not to drop any of the balls you're juggling, you build a life by proactively and consciously choosing which balls you're going to let fall to the ground. So, what helps us decide what's worth holding on to? Well, a big part of it is curiosity. It's the engine that keeps us engaged and learning and feeling alive. Following your genuine interests, not because you have to, but just because you want to, that's the ultimate tool for navigating a long, meaningful life.
Which brings us right to the final and maybe the most important question. See, the modern reckoning isn't about faking your death to escape your life. It's about having the courage to live the one you actually have, deliberately. So I'll leave you with this to think about. In favor of what truly matters to you, what will you choose to neglect?